Hi, welcome back with another movie explanation. Today, I'm going to explain a horror film called Return to House on the Haunted Hill. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The film opens with a woman named Ariel who has got a lot of missed calls and voicemails from her sister Sarah. She listens to them, and Sarah says that she wants to talk about something important with her Ariel. She ignores it and leaves her office. In the office, one of the researchers whose name is Dr. Hammer is seen giving a speech about the statue of Baphomet. After this, we see that the Dr. Hammer is having an affair with one of his students, whose name is Michelle. While they were having Copa in his office, one of his students, Carl, come into the office to talk to him. He tells him about the death of Sarah. On the other side, Ariel gets a call saying that her sister Sarah has killed herself by shooting herself with a gun. After knowing this, Ariel gets very sad, and her boyfriend tries to console her. She tells him that she wanted to talk to her about something, but she ignored. Ariel couldn't stop crying because her sister has committed suicide. In the next scene, Ariel goes to Sarah's house to see what she was so worried about that she killed herself. She takes Paul with her. There, in Sarah's house, Ariel sees a lot of newspaper articles cut and pinned on the wall. The articles are about the Hill House. Soon, Ariel sees that her sister Sarah goes sitting on a sofa. She gets scared after seeing this and she suddenly disappears. After this, Dr. Hammer comes to Sarah's house and he talks to Ariel about the Hill House and how her sister was going to help him know more about the statue of Baphomet. Ariel does not believe in the doctor's words. She says that Sarah would never go back to the hill because she is too scared about going back to the house. The doctor tries to explain to Ariel about Sarah, but she doesn't listen to him and leaves the house. After this, Paul drops Ariel at her house. While going inside the house, she checks her mailbox and takes all the mails inside the house with her. She sits on the bed and opens all the mails. One of the mails is from Sarah. She opens it and finds a diary in it. The diary has some information about the statue of Baphomet. Meanwhile, she hears someone knocking at the door. She thinks it might be Paul, so she opens it without asking who is at the door. It's a man named Desmond. He comes to her house with his men to find out what she knows about the statue of Baphomet. He even brings Paul and puts a gun on his head to scare Ariel. Here, Ariel finds out that Desmond is the one who killed Sarah. He killed her because she would not tell him about the statue of Baphomet. After hearing this, Ariel gets furious and tries to attack Desmond, but his men have her constrained. Now he tells her to help him find the statue of Baphomet, or he will kill Paul. In the next scene, Dr. Hammer goes to Hill House with his student Michelle and Kyle in search of any clue that might lead him to the statue of Baphomet. After a while, Desmond also comes to Hill House along with Ariel and Paul and his men. He puts a man named Samuel to hold Paul with him and takes Ariel inside the house. After going into the house, they see Dr. Hammer. Dr. Hammer is shocked to see Desmond there. Desmond shows the doctor that he has a diary that belonged to Sarah. Soon, Michelle leaves the doctor and goes to Desmond. The doctor understands that she used him to get to the statue of Baphomet. While all of this was going on, Ariel tries to escape the house, but one of the ladies that work for Desmond stop her by pointing a gun on her. Soon, Desmond explains to everyone that the Hill House was turned into an asylum for mentally ill patients, and the doors of the house lock up with a mechanism, and he knows that using that mechanism has now locked all the exits in the house. Desmond looks into the diary and finds a map. Using the map, he divides his men into teams and tells them to go search the house. One of Desmond's men reaches a wall and puts a hole in it, but a ghost of a metal patient grabs him by the stomach and pulls him inside, and this kills a man. While the ghost was pulling him inside, he sees a vision that the ghost is a metal patient, and he is killed by Dr. Vanaket. He built the wall around him and killed him. After this, we see the woman who came with Desmond. Her name is Haru. She goes into two and finds the ghosts of two girls. The two girls try to seduce Haru and start kissing her. Then, Haru experiences a vision of how the two girls had died. She sees Dr. Vanaket killing them by torturing them on a bed. Haru gets out of the spell of the ghost and sees the real faces of the two girls. She gets scared beyond explanation and runs out of the room. With the gun in her hand, she comes out of the room and finds Dr. Vanaket's ghost. He peels off the skin from her face and kills her there and then. In the next scene, Desmond calls his men to go into the main room. The call gets cut and he calls them again, but this time no one answers the call because all of them are dead. Ariel, who's with Desmond, gets dragged into a room by a ghost, and there she sees a man's ghost. When he touches her, she sees the visions of how he died. and how much torture he had endured before his death. Ariel realizes that Sarah was telling the truth about the Hill House and how dangerous it is to go to the Hill House. Ariel starts yelling. Samuel gets a call from Desmond saying he should cone in with Paul. Actually, Desmond has not called Samuel, but the ghost tricked him to come in. On the other side, a man named Norris and Kyle start to walk around the house. Then, Norris thinks that there is someone under the sheets on the couch and takes the sheet off to check, but he finds no one there and laughs, looking at Kyle. But the ghosts show up out of nowhere and start to tear down Norris, and he dies in a gruesome way. Kyle tries to help him, but the ghosts push him away. Seeing Norris die, Kyle shouts loudly, and everyone gathers back in the main room. The mechanism that locked the house starts to malfunction and locks everyone in the house so that no one can escape. But before the doors close, Ariel runs and gets out of the house. She thinks that Paul was outside in the car. When she goes to see Paul, she realizes that he's in the house and gathers some weapons. The doors of the house open automatically to let Ariel in. She goes in and puts a gun on Desmond's head. Before they could shoot each other, Kyle and the rest of the people stop them. Now, they put a map on the table to try and figure out a route to go to the statue of Baphomet. While going to where the statue is, Dr. Hammer tells everyone about how brilliant Dr. Van Aket was. He says he was a brilliant physician of his time. He also says that his name was on the list for Nobel Prize candidates. After this, from one day, he started to kill people. According to what the churches had to say, it is the evil power of Baphomet that made him that way. After walking for a while inside the house, everyone reaches a pool where Dr. Van Aket used to throw his patients in. Kyle falls into the pool. Ariel tries to save him, but the ghosts kill him. In the next scene, Michelle goes to Desmond to talk, but he thinks she's a ghost and points a gun at her. She escapes from Desmond and goes into a room, where she sees a lot of chairs and other furniture floating in the air. Dr. Van Aket comes to her and kills her by using one of the floating things in the room. After this, we see Paul, Dr. Hammer, and Ariel try to open up a sewer, but they couldn't. Suddenly, a ghost grabs Ariel, and she sees a vision about a man telling her to destroy the statue of Baphomet, and he shows her the statue. Ariel tells Paul and the doctor if they want to leave alive out of the house, they have to destroy the statue. The statue is the reason all the ghosts are bound to the Hill House. In the next scene, they reach the statue, and Ariel tries to shoot the statue and destroy it, but it doesn't even make a scratch on the statue. She gets an idea. She thinks of moving the statue out of the house so that all the spirits would leave the house. They meet Desmond on their way out. He gets killed by the ghost, and Paul gets killed by the ghost as well. She tries to throw it in the sewer, but Dr. Hammer stops her. But Dr. Van Aket kills Dr. Hammer after this. In the climax, Ariel throws the statue in the sewer, and all the ghosts leave the house. The film ends here. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. Stay safe and never forget, you are awesome.